Most guys think the goal, after a first date, is to stay in constant contact. Text her good morning. Ask how her day is going. Make sure she knows you're interested. Here's the truth. That's how you kill attraction. The harder you try to stay on her mind, the faster you disappear from it. Because effort signals scarcity, and scarcity repels. What actually makes a girl think about you is curiosity. Gaps she needs to fill. Questions she can't answer. Moments she keeps replaying. And you create that by doing less, not more. I'm about to give you 7 tactics that make any girl think about you after the first date. These aren't manipulation tricks. They're psychological patterns based on how curiosity, anticipation, and mystery work in the human brain. Master these, and you won't be chasing. You'll be the one she's trying to figure out. Tactic 1. Leave the date before she wants you to. Most guys stay until the energy dies. They drag the conversation until there's silence. They walk her to her car, linger awkwardly, hope for a kiss. Here's what that communicates. I have nothing better to do than be here with you as long as possible. That's not attractive. That's available. And available isn't intriguing. Here's what you do instead. When the date is at its peak, when she's laughing, when the conversation is flowing, you end it. This has been great. I have to run, but we should do this again. Then you leave, not rudely, smoothly. You're not rejecting her. You're just not overstaying. This creates a psychological gap. She was enjoying herself. She expected more time. You took it away before she was ready. Now her brain is trying to close the loop. She replays the date, wondering, wait, did I do something wrong? Why did he leave? That wondering keeps you in her head. Psychologist Robert Cialdini talks about the scarcity principle. Things feel more valuable when they're limited. By leaving early, you've made your time scarce. She doesn't have unlimited access to you, which makes her want more. If you stay until the date fizzles, there's no scarcity. There's no mystery. There's just a guy who had nowhere else to be. Tactic 2. Reference something you talked about, but don't explain it fully. During the date, you mention something intriguing. A trip you're planning, a project you're working on, a weird hobby. But you don't go deep. You drop it casually and move on. This plants a curiosity seed. Her brain noticed the gap. Wait, what trip? What project? But you didn't give her the full story. Now, she's thinking about it after the date, wondering, wanting to know more. Here's the psychology. The brain hates unfinished information. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. We remember incomplete tasks better than completed ones because the brain keeps trying to close the loop. When you mention something intriguing without explaining it, you've opened a loop in her mind. And the only way to close it is to see you again. That's leverage. Example. During the date you say, yeah, I'm heading to Portugal next month for this project I'm working on. She asks, what project? You smile and say, I'll tell you about it sometime. Remind me next time. Remind me next time. Then you change the subject. Now she's thinking, what project? Why Portugal? She can't Google it. She can't figure it out. The only way to know is to keep talking to you. You've created a reason for her to stay curious. Tactic 3. Text her something specific from the conversation, not generic fluff. Most guys text after the date. Had a great time. Let's do it again soon. That's boring. That's what every guy texts. Here's what you do. You reference something specific she said. Something personal. Something she might not even remember she mentioned. This shows you were actually listening, and it makes her feel seen, which is rare. Example. She mentioned during the date that she's trying to learn guitar but keeps giving up after a few weeks. 2 days later, you text. Did you practice guitar this week, or are we still in the giving up phase? That's not generic. That's specific. It shows you remember details about her life. It's also playful, which keeps the tone light. Most importantly, it makes her think, wait, he actually listened. Most guys don't even remember my name. Here's the psychology. Personalization triggers the spotlight effect. When someone references something unique to you, it feels like they're paying special attention. That attention feels good. It creates a dopamine hit. And her brain associates that hit with you. So she thinks about you more, because thinking about you feels rewarding. Tactic 4. Don't be available immediately. She texts you. You don't respond in 5 minutes. You respond in a few hours. Not because you're playing games, but because you have a life. You're busy, you're working, you're at the gym, you're doing something that matters. This communicates value. People who are busy, who have purpose, who have options, they don't drop everything to respond instantly. And that unavailability creates attraction. Here's the psychology. When someone is too available, the brain interprets it as low value. If they're always free, they must not have much going on. But when someone takes time to respond, the brain thinks they're busy. They must be important. I should pay attention. This is basic supply and demand applied to attention. Scarce attention is valuable. Abundant attention is cheap. But here's the balance. Don't disappear for days. That's not mystery. That's disinterest. The sweet spot is a few hours. Enough to show you're not glued to your phone. Not so long that she thinks you're ghosting. You're not ignoring her. You're just not making her your entire focus. And that creates intrigue. Tactic 5. Plant a future reference during the date. This is subtle but powerful. During the conversation, you casually mention something you'll do together in the future. When we grab coffee next time, I'll show you that playlist I was talking about. Or, next time we should check out the taco place you mentioned. You're not asking for a second date. You're assuming it. And that assumption plants a future image in her mind. Here's the psychology. When you reference a future event, her brain starts visualizing it. She imagines sitting with you at that taco place. She imagines hearing that playlist. And visualization creates familiarity. The more she visualizes future moments with you, the more her brain accepts them as likely. This is called the mere exposure effect. We like things we're familiar with it. By planting future references, you're making future time with you feel familiar before it even happens. Example. She mentions she loves vintage bookstores. You say, "There's this old bookstore downtown I've been meaning to check out. We should go sometime." You didn't ask her out. You didn't pressure her. You just planted the idea. Now, when she thinks about vintage bookstores, she thinks about you. When she sees one, she wonders, is this the one he mentioned? You've linked yourself to something she loves, and that keeps you in her thoughts. Tactic 6. Be slightly unpredictable. Most guys follow a script. They text good morning. They ask about her day. They compliment her. It's predictable. And predictable is boring. Here's what you do. You break the pattern. You text her something random at a random time. A meme that made you think of her. A weird question. A photo of something interesting you saw. Not every day, just occasionally. Enough to keep her guessing. Here's the psychology. The brain craves novelty. Predictable patterns become background noise. But unpredictability triggers attention. When you're slightly unpredictable, she can't categorize you. She can't figure you out. And that mystery keeps her engaged. She's wondering, what's he going to say next? What's he thinking? That wondering is attraction. Example. It's Tuesday afternoon. Most guys would text, "How's your day going?" Boring. Predictable. Instead, you text, random question. If you could only eat one cuisine for the rest of your life, what are you choosing? It's unexpected. It's playful. It doesn't demand anything. But it breaks the script. She's intrigued because you're not following the pattern every other guy follows. Tactic 7. Don't overcompliment. Give one specific compliment, then move on. Most guys shower girls with compliments, hoping it builds attraction. It doesn't. It kills it. Because compliments close loops. You're beautiful. Loop closed. She knows you think she's attractive. There's no mystery. What creates attraction is the compliment she's not sure you meant. Here's what you do. During the date, you give one specific, understated compliment. Not about her looks. About something she did. Something she said. Something unique. I like how you don't take yourself too seriously. That's rare. Then you move on. You don't pile on. You don't wait for her reaction. You just drop it and keep talking. This plants a seed. She's thinking, wait, did he just compliment me? What did he mean by that? Here's the psychology. Compliments about appearance are forgettable because she hears them constantly. Compliments about character, personality, energy, those stand out. And when you don't linger on the compliment, it feels genuine, not strategic. She's left wondering, does he actually like me? Or was that just a casual observation? That uncertainty keeps you in her mind. She replays the compliment, analyzing it, trying to figure out what you meant. Example, she tells a funny story about something embarrassing that happened to her. You smile and say, I like that you can laugh at yourself. Most people can't. Then you immediately ask her another question. You didn't make it a big moment. You didn't wait for her to thank you. You just acknowledged something you noticed and moved on. Now she's thinking, wait, does he think I'm funny? Does he actually like my personality? That question lingers. Here's the system compressed. Leave the date at its peak. Plant intriguing references without explaining fully. Text something specific, not generic. Don't be immediately available. Reference a future moment together. Be slightly unpredictable. Give one specific compliment and move on. These aren't tricks. They're psychological patterns. Curiosity, scarcity, unpredictability, personalization. They work because they make you different from every other guy who's chasing over texting and trying too hard. Here's the truth. You don't make a girl think about you by forcing your presence. You make her think about you by creating space for curiosity. The guy who's always there becomes invisible. The guy who's slightly out of reach becomes irresistible. Not because he's playing games, but because he has a life, has standards, and doesn't need validation. That's the energy that stays in her head long after the date ends. Here's my question for you. What's the worst mistake you've made after a first date? Over-texting? Staying too long? Being too available? Drop a comment and let me know. Subscribe for more dating psychology that's based on how attraction actually works, not how you wish it worked. Let's make you unforgettable.